Formula 1-E arrives at Singapore for the 8th round of the 2021 championship. And the big news was that Mercedes had finally managed to bring its new tyre wear upgrade to Singapore. It says it still lacks a little bit behind in terms of race pace, but their qualifying pace is forever strong, and Hamilton looked quick over the practice sessions. Mercedes hope now that their new tyre wear upgrades will prevent them from having to make a series of last lap pit stops that they have had to have made at previous Grand Prix. Hamilton now is hoping that he can take the charge to the McLarens and the Aston Martins in terms of the race pace, and hopefully Van Dorn will also be looking for more points. Meanwhile, Alpine also are looking for more points after Alonso managed to get an 8th place at the previous round. They say they've been unlucky so far, and their position in the championship does not reflect the overall position of how good their car is. They feel there's more to come from their car, and hopefully to bring a few upgrades that should be able to maximise the strength of their car. Aston Martin are also looking for more points, especially after George Russell managed to get a race win, his first in his career last time out, and the first also for the brand new team. Toto Wolff, the team boss, has said that he wants to hopefully build Aston Martin into a more front-running team, but admit that they need to work on qualifying pace in order to match Mercedes and McLaren. And they've just done that, because Sebastian Vettel becomes the first non-Mercedes driver to qualify in the front row at Singapore. Hamilton, as ever, is the man who takes pole position. Those extra 2 points are coming with them. Van Dorn drops to 3rd. The two McLarens start 4th and 5th. Max Verstappen shows Red Bull have a good car. He starts 6th, with Verline behind Russell. Leclerc doing well to be ahead of Lando Norris. Outside the top 10, Carlos Sainz starts 11th, ahead of Sergio Perez. Is disappointed he starts 12th, although might be sandbags to do the alternative strategy there. Ocon starts behind Alonso again, down in P13 and 14, and they're also 2x2 with the two Cheetahs, the two Jaguars, and the two Dragons, the slowest of all for today's Singapore Grand Prix. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another video of the F1-E 2021 mod. Today we're here for the 8th round of the season at Singapore, the start of a two-legged Asian leg before we have the finale, 3 rounds back in Europe. Yes, of course, if you have missed any of the previous videos of this series, then you can go and check that out to catch up. And of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. As I've previously said, I am still aiming to get as close to as 500 subs before F1 2021 comes out. So if you have not yet subscribed, it's the big red button under the video. It massively helps me out in sustaining the channel. We're currently on 408. And if you have recently subscribed, then thank you for your support. But yes, fiddling about with the race strategy. Eventually it's just going to be a 2-stop. Softs, they don't go far. The problem, I think, the main thing is going to be the traffic, because how quickly can we get through, how quickly can the AI get through? We'll have to wait and see. We get ready for 5 red lights then for the Singapore Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go, and it's a good start, better than both the 3 people in front of us. But then of course we get a little bit scared going into turn 1 as the gap narrows between Vettel and Hamilton. Van Dorn tries and comes around the back at the outside into turn 2, but we have the inside line into turn 2, and that's going to allow Verstappen to attack Van Dorn coming out into turn 3. But Van Dorn will have the inside line, and he's going to squeeze Verstappen out surely and move up. But Verstappen gets ahead of Van Dorn into the middle sector, but then on the 3rd DRS straight, Van Dorn gets him back round the outside. Nice little move there from the Belgian driver in the Mercedes car, as Pascal Wehrlein has been in the wars already again. He's lost another bit of his right wing, and he will have to certainly come into the pits. He's effectively joining the one-stock runners, but albeit he'll have to use the pace of that car and the tyre wear upgrades it's got to make sure he doesn't. He can come through the field, and those one stoppers that choose to do so, as we watch our teammate being chased by George Russell. Not doing much there is Valtteri Bottas in the Jaguar down below. Is having an engine failure, not as bad as one in the F2 practice session earlier, but enough for a retirement. And it was followed then by another engine failure, funny enough, to Sergio Seta Camara, who also retires with an engine failure. So those two are out of the race. No safety car to speak of those. So instead, we're coming at the end of lap 5. The tyres are pretty much already gone. They're up 60%. Vettel continues on. Mercedes are double stacking. You see Van Dorn's icon in there. We're not at McLaren, although we could have done, because the gap to Ricciardo has not got that great pace. Van Dorn will lose positions. There's Russell coming in, so Russell's getting the preferred treatment at Aston Martin already. But 2.8 second stop, not bad for us. Could have been we've had a little bit better for them, and there comes Hamilton. There's Verstappen. So Verstappen has undercut us all. He came in the lap earlier. Didn't see him come in a lap earlier, but this is a great strategy from Red Bull, and they have managed to undercut a whole load of cars, Van Dorn, Vettel and myself, and he comes into the back of Hamilton, and he comes into turn 2 and he's made contact with Hamilton, and that's such a shame for Red Bull and Max Verstappen. It was been so nice to see them at the front, see what pace they had, but Verstappen's gonna have to come in to replace that front wing, and he's got nothing in the corners now without that front wing. It's not Monza, this is Singapore. It's loads of 90-degree corners, and that's effectively his race over. And here is Vettel as well coming out the pits. He's done a lap longer than both myself and Hamilton, and there is Van Dorn. That's why Mercedes double stacked. Not only that I'm through, but Van Dorn is past Vettel as well. So I'm up into a second place. But this is your race leader then. Sergio Perez yet to stop on the set of mediums. Followed by Carlos Sainz. There's 2 Alpines, a couple of Cheetahs as well. I imagine most of those are going to be one stopping. So the traffic is there as we come into the back of the Jaguar there, who tries to swipe at us of De Vries. But he's not really got much to answer with that. Jaguar is pretty poor, and they can't wait for their big upgrade coming next Grand Prix. Japan is now down the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, who very tetchy time there going through that corner. I wonder if we can make contact. We were lucky not to do so, and we move up into what is net P8. I didn't know if Tsunoda really was going to move over last minute or not, so a very last minute move from myself as well. As Hamilton now is getting bogged down behind the likes of Schumacher, the Alpines and the DS Cheetahs. They're very slow because of course they're doing a 1 stop and they got to eat the tyres out, so compared to our 2 stop they're going to be slower, and eventually Hamilton is still stuck behind Schumacher as we approach lap 9. Into the pits though they come now, so is that a little bit too early for the 1 stop? We'll have to wait and see. Hamilton's had an awful exit there, coming out of the final corner where we're not in a position to make an overtake, and their confirmation that those people coming in on lap 9 are doing a 2 stop because they've gone on to another set of medium compound tyres, which is a bit surprised for Perez. We know how good Porsche have been so far this season with their tyre wear. So this is your race leader then, Carlos Sainz, in the Ferrari. He is doing the 1 stop by the looks of things, yet to stop. Then it's Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly, who are 2nd and 3rd, and Hamilton and myself are right behind, and I'm right behind Hamilton, who cuts us off. We try and switch to the out, which will be the outside, but then we have to lift off. Hamilton closes to take the racing line, and we retain P5 ahead of Vettel and Van Dorn. As now Hamilton is having a go at Gasly. We're going to try and have a look at Gasly as Van Dorn is up or inside. There's contact from Van Dorn. Van Dorn has made contact with us. Wonder if that, of course, we've already made contact with Van Dorn in this series, earlier in the series at Brazil. But here's a replay then, as we retain the position on Van Dorn. But he just punted us. He just very aggressive move there from Van Dorn. Not really an overtake, because I was already halfway through the corner, and we shove him out to show our annoyance of him as we now look to overtake Schumacher in the Gasly in the DS Cheetah car. Give us a bit of a fight, Gasly, in that car, but then eventually just yields the position, and we should be able to catch up to Hamilton, who is stuck behind the Alpine, and we do, excuse me, the end of lap 11. Sainz is now in, so I think these are all going for a one stop. On to Hart, and Hamilton's had a poor exit. We're going to use Rich Mix ERS and dive it down the inside into turn 1. Thank you very much, and that is for the lead. Hamilton has not gone through the traffic. He had a poor exit, which obviously set up this move as Vettel and Van Dorn are getting close behind, and that allowed us to dive down the inside of Hamilton and move back up into the lead. That's the Singapore Grand Prix. As we watch behind the battle is Pascal Wehrlein. He's doing inverted one stop now. He's ahead of the likes of Russell. Russell, by the way, has dropped Ricciardo. He's way behind the two Ferraris, one of the Ferrari and one of the two of the Red Bulls, as Hamilton isn't going to give up on losing this race. Obviously, this will be big for the championship if we win, and that will be opening our gap at the top of the championship. But Hamilton bolts. He eventually comes in and decides to move early for the hard tyres again. Just like in real life at Spain, our teammate isn't there to help us out to make that alternative strategy. So Hamilton's gone early to make to move to hards. He's in clear air, and his hards are going to be at this moment in time faster than my mediums. But will he catch up to traffic? We'll have to wait and see. Is this band headed by Charles Leclerc? We've got Norris, the other Ferrari, Carlos Sainz, is in that group as well, as is our teammate and couple of the Porsches, and I think that's Ocon as well. Ocon and Sainz are going to the end. But as you can see here, tyre wear isn't going that well. We're up to 60% already on the rear right, which is unusual to see. It's usually the rear left for me that degrades the most, but I decided to come in a lap earlier, move to the hards. We could have gone for mediums, but I wanted to play it safe and really attack Hamilton. I don't want Hamilton attacking us where we're having to limp home, really. That's going to allow Russell to go past, and that huge bagel, and there is Hamilton. He's at the back of this queue now. Now, you could have argued if we had stayed a lap later, we could have overcut him, because of course him being stuck in the traffic. But I think the traffic is still going faster than what I was doing, especially the fact that some of these are one stopping, as Hamilton is struggling behind Sainz. We're going to try and pull Hamilton to the inside. We're going to have to go around the outside of Sainz, 3 wide. Sainz locks up, he pushes us wide. We're going to have to rejoin. Sainz blocks us, attempt to rejoin. He's going to block off Hamilton going into turn 2. We're going to get the better exit coming into turn 3 and the inside line. Thank you very much, and effectively, well, that is effectively a move for the race lead potentially. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we've got Vettel, Van Dorn, and Cohen. We've even got Sainz as well to get past, as we squeezed Hamilton a little bit into the wall there. Ricciardo in front has got to sort of sacrifice himself to help us out. He should have come in when we didn't come in at the end of lap 18, but he didn't, and that's annoying. And it's an easy overtake down the inside of Sainz and up into P3. A little bit of a twitch there on the front end, and it's not. I'd love for Sainz to be able to hold up Hamilton, but unfortunately Hamilton gets past Sainz quite easily in the end, and he moves up into what is now P2 on the road. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 effectively there. This is the 5th place man, Esteban Ocon, but he is going backwards. The as in the cars behind him, you can see there's a cheetah of Gasly and co are all catching him as we're trying to break the toe of Hamilton. Van Dorn is past Sainz now as well, and Sainz has lost his podium, but Sainz is a fair way. He might lose out to Vettel, but after that he's in a good position, so he should be able to get P5 as Ocon is now losing out to Vettel, who pitted later than Van Dorn, and all of this is on the mediums, and he's the fastest of all the top four. As we watch Max Verstappen, who's come back into the points despite that front wing damage. So it's a great drive from Verstappen. He's ahead of his teammate and Charles Leclerc as well. Hamilton now, we're trying to break the DRS. Hamilton's going to have a go down the inside. We're going to close the door into turn one. Hamilton had a go for it, but has to yield into the close of Van Dorn, and you can see there Vettel is not quite, is up right at the rear gearbox as Sainz, as Ocon, and I think that's Verline is coming back in this race as well. Hamilton to go moved to lap 25. These hards are not suiting. We have not got any pace on these hards compared to the Mercedes, and Hamilton has another go around the outside. We force him off though and retain the lead just for now. As we take a look down the the rest of the top 10, the lower half of the top 10 now, we've got Gasly trying to hold on for a couple of points for the cheetah car, considering how poor they were in qualifying. But he's got the likes of Verstappen, Leclerc and Norris all vying for points as well. And this is our teammate. P15 is where it's not been a great day for Daniel. He's behind Perez as well, who's also done a 2-stop, and Alonso was also 2 stops. So the 1 stop has definitely worked, as Hamilton once again has another go at us for trying around the outside. He locks up on the inside there, but a little bit of a twitch for us. These hards are definitely not looking good for us. So we jump to lap 30. It looks like we've dropped Van Dorn and Vettel. A little bit of tyre wear on the medium tyre there, creeping in for those two compared to the hards. So maybe it was a good strategy call after all to go with the hards in the final stint instead of the mediums. But saying that, the pace has not been great in this final stint, and jumping to the last lap, Hamilton's having to go in the DRS zone. He's not close enough though, and we retain the lead of the Grand Prix. As we jump into the middle sector now, can we hold on? Hamilton is right there. We've got a series of 90-degree left-right corners, of course, as you well know, through this middle sector, as the night is well and truly fallen here in Singapore. Up to the bridge now. Hamilton a little bit wide there. Hamilton might have a look into the hairpin here. We might just wait. He'll have DRS down this straight, which is potentially his last chance to get the win, but he's not close enough down the straight. But obviously the Porsche engine is doing enough to be ahead of the Mercedes one, and we retain the lead for now. We're going through the middle sector, of course. It's not over there. We still got a few corners left where Hamilton could dive it down the inside coming into the final sector. He's not going to dive it down through there. Through the final couple of corners we come. Hamilton's not close enough. Right through the final corner. Out the final corner we come to win the Singapore Grand Prix. Is that one hand on the championship? We'll have to wait and see. 2 tenths ahead of Hamilton. I'll definitely take a win after the disaster we had last time out at Azerbaijan. Van Dorn gets his first podium of the series as well. 3 tenths ahead of Vettel, who was the fastest man of all. Sainz did well to get P5. Verline, a good recovery as well, as for Verstappen as well. Russell disappointed with 7th. Ocon will be happy with more points for Alpine in 9th, and Charles Leclerc rounds out the top 10. Lando Norris, no points again for the Brits. Wonder if his days might be numbered there. We'll have to wait and see. Sergio Perez, very disappointed. Could only finish P12 with that. And that very weird 2-stop strategy with 2 sets of mediums, a set of hard. Gasly will be distraught, not being able to keep it in the points. And Alonso, Ricciardo, disappointing there. Sonoda, and then obviously Schumacher as well fell behind as well, with De Vries the last man ahead of Seti Kamara and Bottas, who both retired early on. So we've opened up our lead again. It's now back to 35 points, the maximum of course in this series. Remember, you can only get is 28 in a Grand Prix. Vettel is comfortably clear of 4th place. Perez didn't score, as the head of Ricciardo, who also didn't score. So Verline has moved level of points. Russell also gains, and as does Van Dorn. The only other change in the top 12 is that Carlos Sainz has moved back ahead of his teammate with his 5th place finish. In terms of the constructors, Mercedes have closed the gap to 47 points. That may or may not be enough for McLaren, for us to be able to hold on, with Ricciardo not really having a great time of it as late. Aston Martin, will they close in as well? I'll have to wait and see. Porsche starting to drop back as well, and Ferrari are moving clear ahead of Red Bull thanks to Sainz's position. And can Alpine move up as well? We'll have to wait and see. Yes, if you have enjoyed this video, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and you see plenty more episodes of the F1-E mod as and when they come out. Until the next video, Arsenal, it's time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.